Yo guys, what is up? Today we're gonna be talking about the noob days and just talking about some things. So let's just get started. So I started playing RuneScape in probably 2004, 2005, somewhere in that time period. And the way how I heard about it was a couple of my friends from school were talking about this one game called RuneScape, and I had never really heard of the game before, and I never really had played many computer games besides like Interactive Buddy and just stupid things on addictinggames.com. And I never really had played like an actual MMORPG. And so I wrote the name down on my folder, www.runescape.com, and I wrote it down on my folder, and I never checked out the website until a couple months later. And I don't know what caused me to do it, so I went on to runescape.com, created an account, and the account name, some of you guys probably know what it is, but you guys could probably just look up and see my YouTube channel, and it's fairly similar to that. But my original RSN, my original RuneScape account that I created then is this account that I'm playing on at the moment, my main. And so I did Tutorial Island, and what you know that in the old Tutorial Island, when you like it took me forever to do it. I remember I even remember what kind of pizza we had. We had chicken pizza because my brother, he was just like, I want some chicken pizza, and he's like 2 years older than me, and I don't know. We just had some pizza that night, and I was on the computer and I was doing Tutorial Island, and it literally took me forever to do it, and I still didn't even complete it before I went to bed. And I remember starting like at 5 o'clock at night, and it was like in November ish, and it was pretty weird. And I remember doing Tutorial Island, and you know the rat pit that you kill the rats in? I remember finally doing that, and then trying to go up the one block and go up to like the prayer guy and stuff, and I couldn't figure out how to go up the ladder. Like literally, my mom was telling me to go to bed, and I was like 12 years old, and my mom was telling me to go to bed, and I couldn't get up the fucking ladder. I literally could not. So I didn't complete Tutorial Island on my first time playing, and it was kind of sad. And I was just like, wow, what the hell? Did I hit the rare drop table on that one? Whatever, free money. But I remember doing it, and I completed the next day. And I remember when I was creating my account and like changing the look. Like well, at the time I wasn't very tall because obviously I hadn't hit puberty yet at 12 years old, and I have blonde hair, blue eyes, and I wanted to make my RuneScape character look nothing like me in real life, just in case there were stalkers. And the I made my RuneScape account to have like the spiky black hair, a black beard, and like the tuxedo short sleeve shirt with like the pokey edges, and then the pants to be like those shorts with like the bloody legs. I can't believe I actually remember my exact like RuneScape look, but that was my original look on this game. And I remember after a couple like days of playing the game, I had spoken to my friends in real life, and I was like, "Hey, I made a RuneScape account. I don't really know what I'm doing, so can you teach me sometime how to play it?" So they told me to add them, and I really didn't know how to add people. So I finally figured out how to add them, and they were PMing me, and I had no idea that it was in like this little chat screen right here. And I was like the biggest noob ever. Oh my god! Like literally, it took me forever to figure out how to do things in this game, and it was just ridiculous how like newbie I was, and how like I never really used computers until like I started playing RuneScape and using YouTube and things like that, and it was just ridiculous how big of a noob I was at it. And they were PMing me, and I finally realized, oh hey, look at this little chat bar here in Adam. So after about a week of playing the game, I had started doing Ernest Chicken, the quest, and the quest literally took me forever because the freaking I they told me to use the help site, and I used a help site to do the quest, and it took me a while to do it, but I finally did complete it, and it was like the hardest quest ever because it took so long, and the little puzzle in the downstairs took a while, and it was not very much fun, and I was just like, this game is stupid. Oh, I'm not good at it at all. And so then once I started playing a little bit more and getting more friends and stuff and making some money, I remember like for my first 2 weeks, how I made money was I sat in Lumbridge and I killed goblins until I got 2k GP, and I had no idea there was a bank on top of Lumbridge Castle. Like I literally had no idea. So I was banking my money at Alcarid Bank all the way on like you know where the Alcrid Bank is. See, there was no duel arena for free to play, I believe. So I was banking all the way in Alcarid, and I was paying the 30 GP or however I think it was 30 GP to get through the gate every single time. And once I got 2k, I would always go bank. And I remember I had made 10k, and I was like so proud of myself. I was like, yes. And I remember all the drops that I got from the goblins in Lumbridge, I'd sell them to the general store, and I would try and buy armor in the general store. I remember one time I got some mithril plate legs, and I thought I was so cool, and I couldn't wear them because I had no idea how to like train different stats, and the entire time I was training attack. So by the time like the first 2 weeks were up and I was less newbie, I was wearing full iron, like iron helmets, body, shield, legs, and an iron scimitar. And I had no idea that there were better weapons, and it was so ridiculous. I think I had a steel scimitar actually, because it was really hard to get like mithril and addy items in the Lumbridge what do you call it, general store, and it was just ridiculous how newbie I was. And I remember after a while, I had this look going, and I finally decided I was gonna leave Lumbridge and go exploring. And once I finally left Lumbridge, I started walking north, and I remember walking through Varrock, and I was trading all these shopkeepers and stuff, and it was just packed because I think I had played in like World 3. There were so many people, I was like, holy crap, this is like the most people I've ever seen in this game, and my computer was horrible. I was lagging like a bitch, and I was like, okay, I can't stand this. I don't know what I'm doing. So I started heading back to Lumbridge, and you know those mages? they they the mages in between Varrock and Lumbridge. I ran into them and I started attacking them, and I was like, die noob, and I died. Like and I'd run back, and most of my stuff was looted and gone and all that stuff, so I was like, okay, I'm done, and I rage quit for like a week. It was like the biggest rage quit ever, because like when you're a noob, you're like, oh, I hate this game. But I don't know. But after a while, I came back and I started playing again, and I finally understood how to make money and stuff. So I was chopping willows and Draenor and just making some money. And I remember going onto the forums because my in real life friend had told me to use the forums to like sell things, and I was trying to find somebody to buy willow logs, and I remember meeting Chessie Zero, whatever her face is, Zero whatever, Chessie018 or whatever, and I had sold her probably a good 2,000 willow logs. I don't know why she was buying them. She was probably fletching or something, and I had sold her a good 2,000 of them, and I had just gotten 60 wood cutting, so I had finally started chopping yews, and I was like, hey, do you want me to chop you some yews instead of what do you call it? What the fuck am I saying? You want me to chop you yews instead of willows because yews were more expensive than willows? And she was like, no, just keep chopping willows. And I'm like, this is pointless. So I ended up deleting her, but she never kept me added, so we weren't like friends. I was just the noob that was collecting resources for her. So we weren't ever friends. I was just giving, or not giving her things, but buying, or what the fuck am I saying? Just getting supplies for her. So yeah. What else? I remember when I first had done the Dragon Slayer free to play quest. It was so hard because I remember going through the caves, like no, not the caves, the maze in Remington, and that took me so long because obviously I was a noob and I was wearing full Addy because I couldn't wear the dragon or the rune plate body yet, and it took so long because you couldn't hit very high on things. And I remember by the time I got to the end of the waves or by the time I got to the end room, I literally had I had like two tuna left, and it was just so hard to get the key. And I remember, you know how you're supposed to loot the chest at the very end. I didn't loot the chest, and I didn't get the piece of the map or something. I can't remember what I did. I can't remember the quest exactly, but I remember doing it, and it was just so hard, and I could not get it, and it was just annoying as hell, and I had to do it again. And by then I was higher combat, obviously, by going through there and getting higher stats. And I think I got like a couple or like a combat level going through it because I done it twice, and I had finally gotten it. And you know the point where you're supposed to what do you call it? You're supposed to kill the goblin and the um telegrab the piece. My magic level was like 5, my range level was like 20. I was such a noob, but I had combat stats, so I wasn't like completely helpless. So I had so I paid the goblin like 10k, and that was like a lot of money back then to me. So I had paid the goblin 10k to get the piece, and I remember finally when I was ready to go fight the dragon, I really didn't have a weapon, and I'd just gotten 40 attacks, so I could finally wield something rune. And I had bought a rune longsword in Draenor Bank from this one guy, and I had finally gotten onto the island, ran through. I had no idea what I was doing, and I had the anti-fire shield, thank God. And I had finally defeated the dragon. I was like, yes! Okay, next goal, get full rune. Oh my god, getting full rune, like making enough money to get full rune was ridiculous because I had to chop use and sell it to people. And I remember it was so hard because I had to use the forums, and I had to like go to World 1 or something to sell them or something. And it was ridiculous. And I finally remember getting full rune, and this one guy, and after some time passed, I had like started chopping some more use so that I had like a good 200k cash, and full rune was about 250k. And I remember this one guy, he was buying full rune, and he had traded me. He was like, dude, trade. And he put up a mill and he was like, I'll buy your full rune. And I was like, okay. So I took off my rune real quick. I traded it to him, and he put up the mill, and I put up my full rune, and he had made it look like it was 1 mil, but it was actually like 10k. So I got scammed with that, and I was like, dude, come on, please just give it back. So he was like, how much money do you have? And I'm like, 200k. And so he gave me my full rune back, which was 250k for 200k. So I was back down to square one. I was such I got scammed so many times when I was a noob, but now I know better. It was just ridiculous. So that's all I really have for you guys. Let me know your experiences of your first time playing RuneScape, and let me know if I was a bigger noob than you or what happened. So give this video a rating if you did enjoy it. So I will see you guys tomorrow.